What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're back to work on the 3rd gen Tacoma, and now that the suspension lift has been installed and it's dialed in with OEM alignment specs, we're still getting a slight vibration from 60 to 65. Upon further research, since the truck is lifted up, that's now affecting the drive shaft angle and the differential, and the solution for this is install some angled metal shims between the leaf packs and the axle. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started installing these angled shims. Okay, here's the parts we'll be installing today. These are 2.5 degree angle shims, and they go between the leaf packs and the axle. And as you can see right there, it's basically a wedge, and the tallest part needs to aim towards the back side of the truck. Important part right there. And one thing to note, these are actually made of steel. The majority of those ones manufactured out there are aluminum. So these are basically made by Rubicon, and there's your part number for your reference in case you want to get these 2.5 degree angle shims for your truck. Okay, so first things first, I went ahead and jacked up the truck and removed the wheels and tires. And I got jack stands under the rear frame rails. And got a jack positioned underneath the pumpkin of the axle. So what we need to do is I need to go ahead, undo the bolt for this bump stop on both sides. And then once the bump stop is removed, then I need to go ahead and support the axle on this side. And then I need to go ahead and remove the nuts and washers from this retainer right here. So once these nuts and washers are removed, I can take this plate off, the axle will be able to come down, and there's basically a nut and bolt that runs through these leaf springs right here. But before I do that, I need to go ahead and take a C-clamp and clamp these leaves right here, because otherwise they'll come apart if I don't clamp them together. Okay, so let's go ahead and start some disassembly here. All right, the axle shims are officially installed on the 3rd gen Tacoma. Let me go ahead and show you guys a close-up. Now, as you can see between the leaf spring and the axle, that's basically our angled shim right there that we got installed. And that's the thick part right there, facing the rear of the vehicle. Let me go ahead and show you guys the passenger side. Okay, there's a view from the passenger side, not much different. Let me go ahead and take you on the front side of the vehicle. Okay, and there's a view of the front side of the axle right there. So basically the front side of the vehicle is facing me. Now, the largest hurdle I had to overcome installing these angled axle shims is I basically had to lower down the rear spare tire, and then up here on the underside had to undo the shackle for the rear leaf spring. Because what was going on is no matter how much I lowered down the axle with the floor jack, I couldn't get enough space between the leaf springs and the axle in order to feed that angled shim plus the bolt up through the leaf springs. So basically I had to undo the bolt right there for the shackle and lift up on the leaf spring in order to get the proper clearance, and then basically put everything back together. But right down below in the description, I'll go ahead and attach the torque specs for the U-bolts and the rear shackle bolts and whatnot in order to help you guys out. Now, another strategy in order to alleviate vibrations from driveline once you lift up a truck, if the angled shims don't work out for you, and right towards the center of the truck, right on your axle is your center carrier bearing. Basically, there's a drop kit for that, and I'll go ahead and show you guys how to do that in another video. All right, that wraps up the angled shim installation on the 3rd gen Toyota Tacoma. Now, this piece mounts in between the axle and the rear leaf springs, and what it's supposed to do is alleviate driveline vibrations once you lift up a truck, because as you know, once you lift up a truck, it changes the angle of the drive shaft, and you want to correct that to factory spec. Now, after driving this truck a few hundred miles after the angled shim installation, it did help a little bit, but it didn't totally alleviate all the vibrations from the lift. Now, there's something else that we're going to install, and I hope you guys can join us for that installation, and hopefully that fixes everything. And if you found this video helpful or entertaining, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day.